Stockpile Hobbies.
Welcome back to Stockpile Hobbies. My name is Steve, and today I'm going to try and fix the light bulb that blew out on the fire truck here. And also, I think we're going to upgrade the police car here. This is the U-turn Tyco car. It lights up, it makes sounds, with a Viper Scale Racing V-Spec chassis. So we're going to start off with the fire truck here. So what I did was I threw down the drag strip here at 24 volts, and the little incandescent bulb blew out. So we're going to replace it with a white LED light. Alright, so let's take a peek under the hood here, so to say. There we go. So the shell here, really nice body of the fire truck. The detail on this, the paint, the lights, underneath it, real cool. It's reinforced. This can spin around. It extends. Top notch. And this little gem. This looks like something out of a Lionel train set. This thing is crazy. But it basically has a gear here to come off the wheel for like a power takeoff. And as the electricity goes through it, it has a striker, which will ring the bell. And it has a bulb here, which unfortunately did not hold up to the amount of juice that I ran at it. And I can see here, it looks like the wires coming off the bulb are just tied in right here and here. So all I should have to do is just solder these two leads on here, and I think we'll have the bulb replaced. And if I'm lucky, I can just pull this straight up. Yep, that's all it is. I have the soldering iron heating up to about 330 degrees. There we go, 335. Anywhere's fine. I usually even go 225 with it. The soldering iron gets bumped around and it will change. Here we go. So I got a pair of pliers here to pull on the wire as I heat up the joint to remove the wire here. And all we're going to do is just touch it to the connection here and hopefully pull it off. That was easy enough. So let's see if I can do the same thing on this side now. Alright, so I can't seem to unsolder it here, and it's actually pulling the wire off of the joint, it looks like. So I'm just going to snip it. See, that's what I didn't want to happen, was pull the whole rod out. There it goes. Because it's just kind of laying in there. So the wire's too fat to fit down in the slots here. And I also tried putting it straight down through to come out the bottom. But the black heat shrink here keeps it from going all the way down. So I'm just going to give it some extra length. And then let it, when you put inside the body here, it will sit down scrunched like that and up into the slot for it. Alright, so now I'm going to tin the leads. I'm putting some flux onto the wire. And you can find everything I'm using, from the soldering iron to the flux to the solder, in the description of the video here. And by tinning the leads, all we're going to do is put some solder on it. And the flux helps the solder flow across the leads. So we put a little bit onto the iron here. Don't breathe that, and then just put it on the wire. There it goes. And now we're going to do the same thing on this side. So I figured out what it's for. It's to actually, it has to do with the camshaft here. It breaks up the signal, so it causes it to blink on and off. Perfect. Let's get it installed. Let's see what it can do. Need some traction. 5 seconds. Yeah, these things, man. I don't know why they get like no traction. Maybe it's the tires are just so old. Let's see here. No, these feel like they're brand new. But I bet if I put some larger ones on, it would perform a little bit better. Let's try it. Alright, I threw some Auto World X-Traction tires on there that are brand new. It's got some grip now. Wow, you gotta ease into it. I can't just blast it. I think it wants to just. It does a wheelie. It's so back heavy. I got a wheelie fire truck. Drive it like my Viper this time. I'm gonna gradually ease into it. .5. Hey, gotta cut the time in half, right? So that's cool. It's going great down the track. It's not blowing the bulb anymore. We know how to get it to run. Just needs some better tires. But again, we got the thing hauling. It's doing wheelies. And actually, there's one of the cop cars. We're gonna do a video on it because it's doing wheelies also, and it's on an Auto World freaking X-Traction chassis. I'm surprised it's getting that much torque out of it. It might have been upgraded. It was from the collection that I had purchased. Let's get to why we're here now. We're going to upgrade this vintage U-turn patrol car from this vintage HP7 chassis that has sound and lights to hopefully running on a Viper Scale Racing V-Spec car. And I bought an Tyco wide body clip for it also because it came with an AFX one. So I know this is soldered directly to the chassis here. So let's see what we got. Oh boy. So it looks like it's under the board. I want to leave the wire leads. I might have to take this plate off and look, because I don't want to cut the leads here. I'd rather get them down at the source. So I can see down at the bottom here, right in there, is where it is. So I'm fine. I'm going to cut them right here and just cut them off so this way I don't disturb anything else down in here. Oh, there we go. What I'm going to do is I have some extra wire from the light I just cut actually, and I can use that to extend these to make this easier to just take off the V-Spec and have it off to the side without it being so short, or how I was going to do a connection here to be able to take the body off and oil the car. So I think for this one I'm just going to go with really long leads on it. And I also want to check and make sure the lights and sounds work with none of the circuitry down here. I think all of this down here is to make it do the U-turn. So we're going to get these stripped here, and then we're going to test it out on the rails and see if we get some juice going and it still makes lights and sounds. I was able to get the board off. All I had to do was break free the little 4 posts there where they were melted. And now I can see where the leads go, and they go to these 2 joints right here. This is the red, this is the black. And if I test it against the track here, we're good to go. So I don't even need these wires anymore. I can really just snip these off. And now from the back here on the underside, I can take my new leads and come off there and solder them onto the shoes of the V-Spec. And that's what we're going to do. All right, let's get rid of the black lead first. There it goes. And I'll solder on the new one, so I do one at a time. But you can see this whole pile here, all of this is taking the power off that lead there. So if I just come in with a tinned wire and just solder that onto there, we'll be all set. I just had to touch it. Wow. There you go. It's on there. We'll do the same thing for the red wire now. You can see the red wire is going to this back joint here. I feel like you always need like 4 hands when you're soldering. Oh, I think I got it. Alright. Let's see if we get lights and sounds here. I heard it. Perfect. Okay. On to the V-Spec. Alright, here's our brand new Viper V-Spec. So what we're going to do is, first thing is take off the body clip here. And take the Tyco one. And let's see if this fits the car. Go. And indeed it does. We're going to move the tires forward a notch here on the front of the car. So the wheels just pull off. And now I can associate them to the front setting here. There we go. And just turn the wheel and axle as you push it on. And make it pretty snug. You don't want a lot of back and forth play here. There we go. Even that's too much, but we'll be alright. I gotta take these off again anyway, so I think I'm gonna do some chrome paint on these. And I mean chrome this time. I got some chrome markers to do that. So this should fit a little bit better now. Let's just see with the leads coming out the front. Yeah, there we go. Of course, we won't see the wires. They're gonna be clipped. And it really does need a bigger tire up front. It looks really small, but it's gonna fly though, isn't it? But before we do anything else, we want to oil the chassis here. So I'm going to start with the wheels. I'm going to put a drop down on the axle here where it hits the body. Let it flow through. Same thing for the other side. Okay. And for the rear axle as well. Work that through. And now where the pinion goes through the chassis, just the dot. And also on top, the top armature here. Dot in there. And now for some grease with Teflon in it. A little bit on the toothpick here. And we're just going to apply some to the pinion. Let it work through a little bit. Add some more at a different spot. You keep doing this until the entire crown gear is covered. So I'm going to cut about that much length for the red, because the red wire has to go to the driver's side rail, left side. And for the black one here, getting a little bit more slack than it actually needs, like I said, so right about there also. Probably about the same length. Pretty close. So I already pinned the wires, and now I'm going to pin the brush barrel straps or whatever. You could run the wire through the little holes here if you want. I'm not going to do that. I'll just come off the back side. I also switched to a finer tip so I wouldn't melt the plastic. We just put some on the shoes just like that. That's all that's needed. Now we come through and solder our wire by sandwiching it between the iron and the solder on the shoe. Here we go. There we go. Alright, so I replaced the front wheels with a generic mag there. Looks pretty good. It's just a little too small with the donut on there. It didn't look right. And now I think it will look just fine on there. It's got a big gap though, but that's just how the body's designed. It has that big lift in the front. So let's get these painted. And there we go with the chrome wheels on it there. It got a little smudged in the back, putting those big Viper tires on it. But it looks pretty good. We're going to send it down the racetrack now and see how fast it goes. All right, I warmed it up a little bit. Let's see what it can do. That's pretty cool. So, yeah, it's pretty fast, 0.887. Not the fastest V-Spec I have, obviously. It has a lot of weight to it. This body's very heavy. It's got the circuit board on it. It has the speaker on it. There's also the power draw for the lights and the speaker. And it's it does have some impact on performance. So the issue is the bigger tires that I put on the front, it's lifting the car too high up because it has a really low center of gravity. And these shoes don't have enough travel in them because of the bigger tires. So if I actually want to run it on the racetrack, we got to pull off the front tires here. Ah, 10.79 seconds. Wow, it flies around the track. Usually anything under 13 seconds is pretty quick. 10 seconds is blazing fast. This is awesome. We now have a cool cop car to chase all the race cars around the track. Lights and sounds, and looks good with the chrome wheels. I know that's really small in the front. You know, the car performs the way it needs to. I hope you enjoyed this video. Please leave me a comment if you have any questions about anything you saw. Let me know what you're working on too. I'd love to hear about any projects you got going on. If you enjoyed the video, please give it a thumbs up. Please subscribe to the channel if you're not subscribed already, and keep having fun, everyone.